That's fine. All right. Let me just check to make sure everything is going live. Ba ba ba.
I got a barking dog.
Okay, looks good there. Let's see if it's appearing on out. Okay, looks like we are live, my friend.
Wow.
Welcome everybody to another interview in the Crow's Nest with your boy John Adams from the Upstart Crows. How is everyone doing tonight? Hooray! Yes, we are here. We are here with Coral Gables, a good friend of mine. Fellow Americana artist, I would say. I would describe you guys as a bit of Americana, right?
Yeah, I got a whole batch of harmonicas here.
Yeah. So like pretty much every other episode, we're just kind of going through the creative process, talking about different writing techniques, experiences in the music business, and other topics of that sort. But let's get the people a little bit about yourselves, about you in particular.
Yes.
Let's. How would you introduce your band? How would you guys describe yourself?
I describe ourselves as a good old-fashioned rock and roll band.
Really? Hell
kind
yeah.
of. My name's Kenny. There's three of us normally. Guitar, bass, drums.
Just like us. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know the struggles, but yeah, I don't know. I just it's rock music. We don't have a lot of keys. It's not like hard rock music in like the AC/DC mold or anything like that.
Yeah, totally.
But it's drawing from the various kind of primitive rock traditions from like 50s, 60s, 70s onward into like the indie era and the punk eras.
I even sense a little garage rock in there.
Definitely. Guitar driven, lyric driven. That's how I describe it. We got harmonicas. We got guitars. We bend notes, that kind of stuff.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I really enjoy this stuff because it's sometimes hard for us to find similar bands, and I feel like we kind of line up in that similar Americana feel.
Yeah, totally.
In places. And how long have you guys? I feel because we've recently started playing shows together. I would say like past couple of years and stuff. How long has this project been going around for?
We started it, I guess, post lockdown era, post COVID lockdown era. So, I had that's like 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
I had recorded a album of songs by myself during the COVID lockdown period, and I didn't know what to do next, I guess. And my friend Pat, who's our bassist, kind of told me he was like looking to play in a band. He was interested in playing in a band, and he said he was like going on Craigslist and trying to find a band to be a member of.
Oh, that's the one advice I will give to every musician. Do not go to Craigslist for musicians.
Yeah, well, I basically said that to him. I said, I'm right here, my man.
Hell yeah.
And then my other friend Adam is our drummer, and Adam was the drummer in my high school rock and roll band, so we go way back. And we just started playing. They still both live in New York City. At the time, I was in New Jersey, in like suburban New Jersey, just like hunkering down.
Yeah.
And now I live in Philadelphia, which is where I am.
Oh wow!
Currently.
Are they also still in Brooklyn?
They're still in New York, yeah.
Or New York, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a long distance band relationship, I guess. In a way, I mean, it's an hour and a half bus ride or whatever.
I am actually kind of curious about that, how bands make that work, because currently, like all of
Yeah.
us, we all live in New York City as well, and
Right.
we try to we try to meet up at least once a week. So how do you guys normally, how do you do like rehearsals? Or do you meet up every week? Or are you?
No, definitely not. We definitely don't meet up every week. We meet up when we can or when we
Mm,
need to. In the beginning it was a little more often, but I was closer. I was in North Jersey, so it was easy to hop on a train. Now it's a little more, uh, I don't know, a little more, just a longer distance. But
totally.
we meet up as needed. Yeah, we when we play a show, when we have a show booked, we'll practice. Within a week before the show. I mean, our last show we practiced the morning of the show, or the afternoon of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
show, and
totally.
then perform the same set 3 hours later or whatever.
I
So
mean,
we do
that's
what we have to do.
totally okay. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that all right. That's interesting because I've always wondered that if I ever like left the city or one of the other guys left, how we would manage to do that. But it sounds like that's kind of like best approach is just be ready for the shows.
Yeah, depends what your goals are. I'm kind of our chief songwriter person, and I'm playing guitar, I'm singing, I'm playing harmonica, and Adam and Pat are giving me like that kind of tight rock rhythm section.
Yeah,
But
it's
anyway, because the songs are like mine, I feel like I'm the one who does most of the traveling, and I don't mind doing it. Um, so when we need to practice, I'm more than willing to like you know carve out time to
totally.
to travel up
Yeah, I mean, it
there.
makes sense because it is kind of. So I guess that's a question for. We're kind of jumping around, but I feel like
Yeah, we
this
could
is.
jump around. I'm happy to
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
around.
For
Keep it
the
loose.
writing process,
Yeah.
are you? Because personally, my ideal situation is just like getting in a room together with the boys and just
Yeah.
jamming on shit till we come up with some interesting guitar parts. What is
Uh-huh.
your process usually for writing? Are you writing the full thing and then presenting it to the band?
Yeah. I'll try to. I'll usually just write a song, um, like slowly over the course of time, mostly in my head,
Right.
and then I'll translate it to like kind of the basic, um, kind of skeletal chords, folk chords, acoustic guitar chords, the cowboy chords.
Yeah.
So I just come in with a song like that has no arrangement and um, no like top order. That I don't have like riffs planned out. I don't
You don't
have
have like a
anything.
structure.
I just have a song. Like I have the full song. Maybe I have verse, bridge, chorus,
Gotcha.
so on and so forth. But it's really just me playing the chords, folk style, and then we'll figure out the arrangement.
Oh, interesting.
Over time and in practice, but we've done it a few different ways because there are a few songs. We've released an album in May, and there are a few songs on that album that we like basically arranged and learned in the studio. So like
Oh, really?
we, yeah, yeah. So like most of the songs were rehearsed, and we um, dialed them in to an extent. But yeah, there were a handful where we like only knew them a little bit, or there's one song that has like a piano. There's only one song with piano on it, and that song like we couldn't even rehearse because we had our friend sit in and do piano on it.
Right.
So we kind of figured that out in the studio, which was fun to do too.
God, that's
But
gotta be
yeah, I'm
terrifying.
always just coming in with the song. It was a little terrifying. Well, it's really fun, honestly. It's my favorite part of the process is to like hear things coming together. So
Oh,
in the
totally.
studio,
It's
when it's
just the
like,
idea of the studio, because like
yeah, yeah,
I don't I don't know if many people know this, but like you're paying by the hour sometimes,
yeah,
or and you
we're
buy it in
well,
batches.
we'll talk about it, but we have a pretty lucky
A
studio
studio setup.
arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
well, I gotta say, I'll just say the record that you guys released, "Fire at the Water Factory," which is a great name. It's a really good album. I highly recommend. I'll probably post it on our Discords for people to check out in our music tag. So if you
Sweet.
guys are interested, definitely check it out. But let's roll back the clock a little bit. I usually
Mm-hmm.
like to get into like people's history
Yeah.
music and where their inspiration is coming from. And I'm very curious. So when did you get into making music? When did you start?
Um, as a teenager, basically,
Hmm.
uh, I when I was a kid, I didn't think I liked music because I have an older sister and she was listening to like top 40 early
Hmm.
2000s radio, like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney Spears and all that stuff. So as like a young kid, I was like, this isn't for me. I just thought I didn't like music.
What did you do
Um,
instead? What did you?
I have no idea. I mean, I memorized baseball statistics, I
Oh.
guess. I don't know. I needed
Wow.
something to hyper focus on. But then, like, I think I got an iPod at some point, and my friends started listening to music. I was probably around like 10 or 11 years old or whatever.
Oh
And I
wow.
got my first iPod, and I put all my dad's CDs on there. And then
What were
around
your
the
what was your family listening to?
um, my dad, he had the kind of your typical suburban dad classic rock kind of stuff. You have the Led Zeppelins, the Rolling Stones. I'm eating some nuts. I hope that
Oh
doesn't
no, it's
bother
totally
anyone.
fine, man. No, it's
Um,
so funny because like everyone says that's like my dad was like, he's listened to Harry Chapin and stuff like. My dad was like a soft rock kind of guy, and he didn't
yeah,
even listen to that much music to begin with. My mother was the one who really like. She has like one of those like 200 CD
yeah,
rotating CD holders things. So I
yeah,
so yeah, it's kind of interesting to see what is the dad what genre of dad music is your dad
yeah,
listening to,
yeah.
you know?
My dad, I would say rock. Yeah, the classic rock dad kind of music. But he strayed into. I think he has some taste that like is a little more unconventional or a little bit. I don't think like he ever pursued this fully, but he
Hmm.
has a bit like new wave post
Oh,
punk
interesting.
stuff in there too. So like I had all these dad rock classics, Beatles, Rolling Stones, Kinks, whatever, whatever else I said,
Yeah,
Bob
yeah, yeah, totally.
Dylan, Neil Young. But in addition to that, like from his collection, I got into television and like Joy Division and like David Bowie was huge for me. Um, yeah, and
Interesting.
some other and like Talking Heads and like 80s kind of
I would not categorize
stuff.
David Bowie as dad rock per se.
No,
See,
I
that's
wouldn't
the
either.
interesting stuff.
There's like a bit of like a little. He dipped his toe into
Yeah.
artsier territory, and maybe I don't know how he would feel about it, but it's formed me.
Yeah, totally. Is
He
it,
should have.
and
If he wanted me to turn out different, he could have hid those CDs from me. No,
now,
I'm just kidding.
would you say that these are the artists that kind of inspired you to start getting into music?
Yeah, they're super formative, and at that time, I was maybe 12 or 13. The Guitar Hero Rock Band franchises were quite huge. And I was playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band with my friends. So, like, there are a few different prongs. Like, I had my dad's CD collection, I had all the songs that were in Rock Band and Guitar Hero. And then I would also go to the local library and just um, take out CDs and put them on iTunes and return them.
Shout out to your local library. You can still
And
do that today.
Mountainside Public Library, you can still do that
You
today.
can still do it. They have DVDs, they have CDs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a fan of like anime and stuff like that, they got all that
Yeah,
stuff. Just
got 'em
go to your
all.
library, man. It's free, dude.
I
I'm
love
I'm
library.
pro
I love
library.
library.
I love library. I love
I'm
library.
I love library. I'm very pro library, and I don't know at what point I started to catch on to like indie music. I started
Mm.
to catch. I think that must have been from the library, and then because I would find like you know famous indie releases. I'd find
Mm.
Neutral Milk Hotel and Arcade Fire and The Strokes and Interpol and like
Yeah.
Beck or whatever. Um, and then there was a CD store in a neighboring town that I would ride my bike to, and I would just start buying CDs from there. So it all spun off from being 12 and 13 and listening to David Bowie and my dad's CDs, and library CDs and playing Guitar Hero with my friends.
It's so funny. Guitar
Yeah.
video games, I feel like, is such a great. Because I would say a lot of the early, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Like
Oh
I feel
yeah,
like
totally.
that is a great
There's
like
definitely some of that. Yeah.
yeah, because there's just so many great songs on there that you were just like. Honestly, I wish that still existed in a world because just getting your music onto like a video game like that, like there's not enough video games that just has
Like a
soundtrack.
taste-making video game.
Yeah, they're like because Tony Hawk's not that big anymore. Like I think they're still making some
There's
games,
still
but
like the skate games and stuff.
but
I
they're
think there must be something. We're just old.
maybe we're just old. But I don't know. I'm with it with video games
Yeah.
as the people in the our
People
fans know. I'm a big gamer. I love playing
What are
video
we
games.
playing? What are we playing right now?
Nothing, because if I play a
Oh,
game,
bummer.
I will
It'll
get
ruin your
so
life.
addicted. I'm really looking into I think I might do a stream of the new Silent Hill game that just came out.
Oh, scary.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it.
It's on
Oh,
theme.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dad's big influence. Go to your local
Yeah.
library. This is
Local library. It was like the
sponsored by your
Pitchfork
local
era,
library.
too.
Oh yeah.
That like the Pitchfork and hipster runoff was a big thing happening. Like
Yeah.
the Pitchfork offshoot, and like hipster culture was entering the conversation.
When was that? That was
Uh,
like 2010.
It was when I was in high school, so yeah, like 2008, 2010, yeah. And I was influenced by that as a teenager. And
It's
at
so
some point within that time period, I started playing guitar.
well. Actually, that's my. So what was your first instrument that you played?
It was guitar. It was,
Guitar?
Yeah, my parents saw me playing Guitar Hero a lot, I guess. And I started to want to learn actual guitar, maybe. I don't remember exactly how that process went down.
Yeah.
Because my parents aren't musicians. My mom was in like marching band and played the flute, but that's a very different enterprise. And she doesn't play flute anymore. So I don't know at what point. I think I just had like a nice supportive childhood where my parents saw me getting into Guitar Hero and didn't recoil from it necessarily. So yeah, I got my first guitar maybe when I was like 12 or something, and they paid for lessons and stuff.
Now, when you were learning guitar, because I'm kind of interested in how you approached learning the instrument, because people learn like I always say that the way that I learned guitar was very much like my guitar teacher. I didn't learn covers because I wasn't really like I didn't have the
Right.
patience to sit and learn a cover.
Yeah, I
But
also
my
didn't
guitar
have
te-
patience.
My guitar teacher would just give me chords, and I would write songs with the different chords. Like
Yeah.
every time he would give me something interesting. So I'm very curious. Like, were you learning a lot of cover songs? How did you learn to play guitar?
I think I definitely early on, I definitely had to learn cover songs. Just like that's what I was being instructed to do, I guess. But I don't know. I'm impatient too. So if I was doing something I didn't want to do, I wouldn't put my heart into it or anything. And then early on in high school, maybe I was 14. Maybe a freshman in high school. The music school that my guitar teacher, I think he operated it. He owned it, but they had a larger programs. Through that music school, I joined a couple of friends, and we started like this sort of fake band. I mean, it was a band, but it was
Yeah.
like
It was a
like
little kid
school
band.
of rock type thing. Yeah, exactly. Where like my guitar teacher was, telling us what material to do, and we covered War Pigs. We covered Like a Stone by Audio Slave. Is that
Oh
correct?
yeah.
Did I got that right? I don't remember. Like a stone. Whatever. I have it burned in my brain. And I don't like that. Well, it's perfectly fine for what it is. But it's just
Honestly,
not my genre.
I kind of, I kind of, it's kind of nice though. I feel like if I learned it that way with like other people learning instruments
Yeah.
at the same time, I think I would have changed my approach a little bit. Which
Yeah,
I'm
we
kind
did
of envious.
Fortunate Son. It was a group enterprise for sure. And then after that band, like I think of me as being in one high school rock band, but I think I was in like 4 high school rock bands probably. But only one of them felt like real. So I had this first baby band, and then we kind of left the nest, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and tried to write our own songs.
From the School of Rock band, tried to form into a real band.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess two. Yeah, okay. So then from there, um, we all had a very dramatic falling out. We were all 15, just mad at the world or whatever.
Totally.
Big egos. I don't remember, but yeah. And then after that, band kind of didn't go anywhere. I started a band with a different group of friends that the drummer in the Choral Gables was in that band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, we were 16, 17. But that band was more like, that's when we started, or that's when I felt like I started to like try to forge something original, I guess. And it didn't go anywhere. It lasted like maybe less than 2 years, but it was like very serious to me as a teenager.
So this is the around the first time you're writing songs as like a teenager?
Yeah,
Interesting.
definitely. Yeah, 15, 16.
How would you say your songwriting process has changed between then and now?
It's changed massively. I mean, when I was 16, I was basically doing a Modest Mouse impression for every song. Like every
That's
song
amazing.
was just a different Modest Mouse ripoff, and I don't even think of them like the way that I understand songwriting now. I don't even think of what I was writing them as proper songs. They were like just like instrumentals with words on top of them, but they didn't feel like
Interesting. You're not like following song.
You couldn't
structure?
transcribe them. You know what I mean? They're like too like impulsive or something or emotional. I don't know. Not that that's a bad thing in music, but like it was uncontrolled. It was a little bit arbitrary, and I think I was maybe vying for attention and stuff.
Totally. I mean, at those early stages,
teenager.
You're just trying to like also just be like, see, look at all this cool stuff I can do. I'm not.
Yeah, right. I wanted people to think I was really smart and interesting. Or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, between then and now, like I don't know. Now I've had a whole self-education process in songwriting that I'm kind of on a side of. I don't know what side of it, but I have a completely different view about songwriting. I didn't have a view about songwriting then, and now I do. So.
Yeah, which you were explaining earlier that your approach is very you ruminate like that. I was a little curious.
I ruminate.
What, like, are you talking like lyrically or musically?
Lyrically, but you know, I'm trying to write songs that are where the melody and the words are contributing equally. So for me to ruminate on something, it's like I'm hearing the words forming to a certain cadence. So it's not just that I'm like trying to write something like I'm not writing poems that are meant to be read. They have to go together somehow. But
right.
I'm not usually thinking about arrangement, you know. I'm not usually thinking about other instruments. I might have a sense of like this song is going to be a good like the Choral Gables song. This is going to have a good solo section or something. Like that does enter my mind, but for the most part, I'm just trying to write something that is like has like a very solid core that no matter what we do on top of it, no matter what the arrangement is, the song is good.
You're talking lyrical concept, or that's what it sounds like. It's like you have a concept or a thing you want to talk about in the song, and then you base it off of that. Is that a correct understanding?
Yeah, but it's like melodic and lyrical at the same time. You know, I wouldn't separate out just lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the voice is the main thing for you. Is just like what I'm saying and how I'm saying it is the most important element.
Yeah, totally.
To your songwriting. Interesting.
Definitely.
God, that is. I've definitely tried to do that in the past, and it's because I'm very much a chords first, and then I'll sing over it, and then I'll write lyrics on top of that. So I've always wanted to try that though. It just seems very
well, you know,
difficult.
it could happen any number of ways though. So like, it's not like I'm rigidly
totally
sticking to any one approach, but it's like yeah, when I'm writing, I have to have kind of just a certain cadence or rhythm or inflection in my head, and a certain melody, and then as I'm working it out, like I'm testing words within that, and I'm like,
Mm.
no, that's wrong, no, that's wrong, and just kind of like intuitively being like waiting for what feels right to arrive.
So
Um,
it's not
yeah,
necessarily about what you're saying, but how it's being said. Would you say?
kind, yeah, yeah,
You'll
definitely.
pick
I
your
mean,
words
it,
by that.
yeah, I'm not trying to convey a meaning that I can explain necessarily.
Mm.
I'm just trying to write something that feels intuitively like complete to me. Um, yeah,
Interesting.
and it's kind of wishy-washy, but
Hey, I mean, some of the best. I mean, what is David Bowie? His whole approach was just writing random words, ripping them up, and then I think
yeah,
doing like a word ladder. I think is the term that they use to
I've done
describe it.
that. I haven't done that literally. I haven't ripped up paper like that, but I've done. I've written that way. Like I free write a lot. Like I
Yeah.
just scribble whatever, like without thinking. I'll just try to write clever lines. Not even. They don't even have to be clever. I'll write any words that come to my head. And
Sometimes it's just like
that's like a
words.
muscle, yeah.
It's just like sometimes the words that just feels very like just good to say.
Yeah,
It's not
or
clever.
it might not, but I just need to like barf out bad sounding
Oh
words
yeah.
too. You know what I mean? Like it'll just be anything. It'll just like
Oh
green
yeah.
soda grows on trees. Like just any nonsense. Like it
Gotcha.
doesn't matter what it is. But if I do a lot of that, I'll end up eventually with a whole notebook of just random words, and then I'll later like go back through it
Yeah.
and I'll copy out the lines that I liked.
Oh yeah.
So there's this
Yeah.
process of like just barfing out, and then there's this process of like discernment where I'm picking out the lines that seem like they might have some potential. But then there's also like a song idea that I have that might have a few lines that are already in place that happened just in my imagination outside of this process of fragment like harvesting that I'm doing. And then I'll try to like just as a way of kickstarting the creative process, I'll try to plug in these fragments, or I'll test stuff out to see if it works until it does. Um, and those are just strategies to get the thing going. But it in the end, I never really. There's just a lot of waiting.
Oh yeah. Tell me about it.
Just a lot of waiting for something to come together.
Well, I'm curious. What would you say? Because it sounds like we have a bit of similarity with the waiting for songs to be finished, and like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a slow process. What would you say is the fastest you've ever written? Like from idea.
Fastest. Oh, I mean, not I almost like uh, it's almost never fast, I guess is
Mm.
what I'm gonna say. But there have been times where I used to think when I was very young or earlier in my songwriting, when I was a teenager still or something, I used to think I'd have a burst of inspiration and I'd think it's a whole song. I'd be like,
Mm.
oh, I've got it. I just thought of an amazing song. And now I get a burst of inspiration and it's like one line. And then I'm like, okay, I only need 50 more of those. So it's like,
Yeah.
the more like seriously I've taken it as a craft, I guess, the longer it can take. But there have been songs that there's a Coral Gables song from an EP we did before this album called "I'm Gonna Set It All Aside," and that song, uh, probably took a, a little while to like fully come together, but that one came pretty fast and was like a real like synthesis, I guess,
Mm.
of what I had been working up to. It felt like, and there are other songs like I before we formed the Coral Gables and I did that solo album. Like some of those songs that I wrote then, I was like unemployed and like I was kind of getting back to songwriting. I was kind of like taking it seriously for the first time in a while. And so some of those songs came together pretty quickly too, just because I was so like, there was like a certain glow where I was just
Yeah.
like, I was really invested in it and I wasn't burnt out on it. I was just like, I felt really like, I guess, inspired and free to like finally do the thing that I had been wanting to do.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
some
You
of those
kind of
songs
need a
came
break.
out faster too. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It's so funny. I was talking to one of my friends about this. like you were talking about, just like you work on something and then you don't have a lot to. I'll go into the
Yeah.
studio and I'll spend like 5 hours and I'll be like, I had a great day. I wrote 2 lines.
Yeah, exactly. Two. I
Just
mean, if you come up with like, there'll be one
six
word.
pages, but 2 good lines out of the
Yeah,
whole six
yeah,
pages.
yeah. That's definitely what it's like.
Yeah.
It can be excruciating, but you got to learn to live with it.
If you're if you're okay with having mediocre lyrics, Godspeed. Honestly, just
I
that's my
can't sing
advice.
them. That's like part of my like. I just if I could do that, I would.
Same.
Love to write like a rock song that was like catchy, and the lyrics didn't matter. It
Peaches
would be
come from a can. They were put there
that
by a
song's
man.
inspired. I'm not gonna trash the presidents, but yeah, I literally like I can't get my mouth around words that feel wrong. It's
Yeah.
just like it's like scratches at me. If there's a even some songs that like we've recorded it, there'll be one line that I just never really pinned down that I'm just like I guess we just gotta live with that being the line, but I still can't fully accept it.
Yeah. I have that. Mine is more I just hate using boring words.
Yeah.
Or as my grandfather liked to say, $5 words. So I'm always just trying to squeeze as many interesting words as I can, which sometimes it creates a little weirdness, but it's just like, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes it can be hard to say. I have a lot of words in some songs too that I'm just like, this song has so many words in it.
well,
It's
I
hard,
mean,
hard to memorize it all.
oh God, tell me. My bandmates always look at me like I'm crazy because I'll forget my words all the time,
I forget it. I forget words all the time.
and they're just like, "What do you mean you wrote these? Why didn't you know your own words?" And I'm like, "I don't know,
I write a
man.
lot of words.
It's
There's a
tough."
lot of words that happen.
Well, we talked about this a little bit. I'm just curious if
Hmm.
there's any issues, any approaches for dealing with writer's block. But it sounds like with the spans of time, you kind of getting away from writer's block per se.
Yeah, I mean the I've tried to, I guess, create a life, like a lifestyle or a routine that can like facilitate my um, imagination and whatnot.
Mm.
So um, I don't. I feel like when I've had writer's block or something, some anguish about not being able to produce what I want to produce or whatever, it's usually because I'm too invested in the outcome. Um, and when I open up myself to like discovery and to seeing, not being so invested in how the song turns out, but rather in like letting the song kind of just like bloom.
That's such a
Uh,
great point because I'll be honest, it's kind of it sounds like just have fun. Once you take it
yeah,
too seriously, you take away the fun, and then you're like too anxious about it. I 100% agree with that.
definitely, but I don't even think it's like a serious or fun thing. Like I think it's I think you could take songwriting seriously without bringing your ego into it, I guess,
Mm,
So I think it's like I try to shut off my ego, and if I'm getting too anguished, that means I'm getting too like wrapped up in what I'm doing, and I'm being like, oh, the negative self-talk will be like, oh, you're
yeah.
not the genius you thought you were, or whatever. Like,
Oh, I see what
uh,
you're saying. I see what you're
and
saying.
then, but the more I let go of my own self-perception, the more I'm just like, whatever. The words will land eventually, and I just need to keep doing this thing. I just need to keep free writing. I need to fill my brain up with things for me to like think about and chew on. So like I'll read a book. I have a drawing notebook. Like I draw pictures sometimes, and just whatever's flowing. I just try to
Do you have
be part of it.
any books, movies, anything like that you really find yourself very inspired by in
I
particular?
I mean tons of stuff. It's my brain is always I've always collected like inspirations. That's like just how I go about my day in like a haze, thinking about all of the things that I've experienced or all the works that I've experienced. Um, Musical inspiration is one thing because I'm kind of process of songwriting is I think maybe a process of like regurgitating and reformulating every song you've ever heard,
Totally.
and it's like an instinctive process. But I've been inspired by other stuff. I recently watched every David Lynch movie, and that's entered into some of the writing that I've done.
Wow.
Inevitably.
Yeah.
Um, I read Tolstoy some years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I became completely obsessed with Tolstoy. Must have been like 8 years ago or something. I was
Wow.
just out of college and kind of having a crisis about what to do with my life, and it was
Russian literature is the way to solve that problem.
to resolve it. Yeah, it is. Uh, but anyway, I was reading him a lot, and that's like I view this all, I guess, together as not just not like a commercial enterprise of like writing, trying to be a successful band that like sells merchandise or whatever. I view this all as one like holistic lifestyle practice and like
Mm.
spiritual practice where the songs I write and the whatever I produce, I want to be a result of this kind of engaged uh, uh, confrontation with like my own life.
Mm.
And yeah, that's informed by more than just music. Obviously, that's informed by you know novels that I've read and
I'll be honest.
Tolstoy and David Lynch and all that.
I feel personally that I need to do that a little bit more because I would say I did that a lot in college, and like after college I was just like ravenous for just any type of art media, and maybe it's just been I'm 34 right now and I'm just tired all the time. Like
Yeah,
most
yeah.
most of the time I'm just like after work I think just working all the time just drains you a little bit, but I feel
Definitely,
like
yeah.
I need to kind of get back into that mindset of just like watching all these different movies, going to museums, consuming
Yeah.
different forms of art to really kind of boost that creative muscle.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to find the time. But then I also like remember that, I'm 31. I've probably like heard or read or seen enough stuff to inspire me for the rest of my life. I need
Totally.
only reflect on it. I need only
Mm.
remember it. Obviously it's hard to find the time, and I have the same
Yeah.
problem. But the more like I feed my brain with good stuff that I love, the better I feel, and
Totally.
the more like tapped into my own inner life I feel too.
I mean, I think that's a great point. Well, because it's at the end of the day, a lot of like, not to get too philosophical, but
Hmm.
the making and consuming of art is kind of one of the great joys in life. Just being able to experience what other people have experienced. And I feel like it's the closest way you can experience someone else's life is through their art.
Yeah, I think it's basically the only way, the only method by which we can communicate what it is like to be
Yeah.
us, to be yourself, or yeah, there's like an insurmountable wall between each individual. Like you can never experience somebody else's experience.
Yeah.
But engagement with your own inner life and my inner life, when I find things that I relate to things that I never would have identified in myself if somebody else hadn't shared it. Um, and every time I've engaged with a work that I really love, I'm like, even if it's totally weird or out there or something, I'm just like, thank God this exists.
Oh yeah.
It like wakes something up in me.
It's just kind of nice to be like, honestly, it just makes you feel better about your own weird art. You're like,
Yeah, it does.
it's just like, hey, at least someone else is doing something. I'm honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just looking for the weirdest shit I can find.
Yeah,
I want that. I
I'll
want to
help
find
you.
that the edges of like my own comfort. I want to be like,
Right, yeah.
what is like the thing that's right there to. I'm like, oh, I no, but like,
Yeah. No, I think it's important. I think it's like, I don't know, that's our full humanity on display.
Totally.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think we kind of covered this a little bit, but in your songwriting, we were talking about your digging for words and melodies and stuff like that, but the actual songs themselves, the lyrics you're writing about, are you writing about personal influence experiences and stuff like that? Where are you just doing more storytelling? Like, what is your final product usually come out to? Your final song, I mean.
Um, usually usually I only find that it's about my life after I've written it. Um, usually I'm just it's a completely intuitive process. So, um, a song will start off as nonsense or
Mm-hmm.
just like the shadow of an idea. And then through the process of selection, I'll find lines that work, lines that don't work. And then when it's done, I'll stand away from it and look at it as a whole and say like, oh, I was writing about my emotions. But I
Yeah.
don't know that until the end usually. I mean, some stuff I can attach to a specific moment or a specific place or moment of inspiration or something. But for the most part, it's much hazier than that. It's not something that I see the full picture until the very end. But like, there's one song on the Coral Gables album, "Heavy Load," that I can center that narrative. I was walking around Washington D.C.
Hmm.
and I was by myself, and I went to college there. Um, but I hadn't been back in a while. My friend was graduating from law school, and he invited me to his like law school like graduation party. So I went to DC by myself, and I was just walking around DC like waiting for this party, or it might have been the day after. I don't remember. But I was just walking around DC alone and just feel like my friends graduated from law school. What am I doing?
Mm.
And just being like, I used to live here. I don't know any. I know like three people here now, but I used to live here, and just had certain feelings and just memories, and just being placed back in onto those streets and in that environment that was like once
Some
familiar
nostalgia.
to me. Yeah, definitely like familiar to me, but also like alien. It's been changed by time and so that song I could center in that time and place. But then like all this other stuff entered the picture as I wrote it, and I didn't
Mm.
write that song all in one go. I wrote that song over the course of a few months probably.
Right.
Um,
What's the
so
name of the
it's
song? Which
Heavy
one?
Load.
Heavy Load.
It's our
Check it out,
what
people.
is
It's a
it,
good
the
song.
fourth song or something? Yeah, that's one. I'm looking at the track list. I don't think any others are directly about my life. But the other song I mentioned, "I'm Gonna Set It All Aside," ended up being about my life at the end too. And this it happens, but I come from different angles. Yeah.
I know, that's something I've definitely started doing a lot more, and it's also just a thing you kind of realize with a lot of people will look at a piece of art and they're like, wow, how did they do that? How did they like books or movies? They're
Mm-hmm.
like, how did they come up with that crazy twist? And
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
you're just like, oh, they probably finished it and then they were like retroactively be like, yeah, that's what it means, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, totally. And that's like when I'm trying to come up with stuff, you try to come up with stuff that's brilliant and it falls flat if that's what you're aiming to do.
Mm,
And then the stuff that I feel most attached to and proud of is the stuff that I'm like, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how the thing I wrote ended up this way. Like there's an element of surprise that keeps it, uh, vital to me.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we are at the midpoint of our presentation, our show, as it were.
For sure.
And this is the section where we have the lovely Coral Gables, you, my good sir, to play us a couple songs. We didn't have a lot of time
Yeah.
to get the setup working out. We had some technical issues, so
It'll work. I'm not
what
concerned.
it seemed to be working okay. So we'll just have you go. You willing to play one or two songs for us?
Of course, I'd be happy to.
Wonderful.
I got my harmonica. I'm gonna play the song I was talking about. I'm gonna play "Heavy Load."
Wonderful. Heavy load, everybody.
Thank you. I've been through the ringer. I've been through hell. I'm walking through a city that I used to know well. Everybody's scrambling, they got places to go. Not me, I'm way down and I'm traveling slow. As time keeps pouring down in sheets like rain over senators and presidents and going down the drain. Turn to the alley, I've been this way before. Been under that ladder to go knocking on your door. Something coiled up inside of me, it feels like it's gonna explode. I'm carrying a heavy, heavy, heavy load. Wandering the city on a sunny day, wondering why the streets are so wide and the buildings are so gray. All these politicians buzzing like bees in the hive, as I stand among them looking barely alive. As time keeps passing like a train going by, you could hear the whistle blowing through a crack in the sky. Doing what I can, I'm doing what I must. I've been serving my sentence and the sentence was just. It's not an undue burden, I'm reaping what I sowed. I'm carrying a heavy, heavy, heavy load. Bought a ticket to a mansion named for a billionaire. The Europeans in the next room, they're putting on airs. There's no way to get away from these middle-brow hacks. They suck up all the oxygen and they travel in packs. As time keeps blanketing the earth like snow, you can hear, over prairies of the mountains as a cold wind blows. Like a figure in a painting in a sea of green, I've felt alone in the world since I was 16. And it's the same old story, just in a different mode. I'm carrying a heavy, heavy, heavy load. Driving to the city, the one where I now live, wondering if there's anything at all to the world that I can give. And everything is rotten, limp to the touch. I tried living my life to the fullest, but it hasn't amounted to much. As time keeps passing like a train going by, you can hear that whistle blowing through a crack in the sky. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever will be, will be. I just try to do unto others I would have them do unto me. And it's a new beginning to a long, hard road. I'm carrying a heavy, heavy, heavy load. Heavy load.
Hell yeah. That's such a good song.
You. Thanks, man.
What else do you got for us?
I could do another. I forgot that song, crucially. Heavy Load I had been listening to I had the song Mississippi by Bob Dylan stuck in my head.
It's very Bob. It made me think of Bob Dylan, which I
It's
really enjoyed
definitely
about that.
Bob. But
It's got some Bob.
Mississippi from 2001's Love and Theft, which is like a undersung late career gem. And Mississippi is an amazing song. So if you listen to that song, you'll hear it in Heavy Load too. You'll hear the similarity.
I'll have to check it out.
That was definitely running through my head though. There's another. I'm gonna do the other song I talked about. It's called "I'm Gonna Set It All Aside."
Awesome.
On the roads that I've treaded, I've been exploited, I've been indebted, and every challenge, although I've met it, would drive me crazy if I let it. But all the problems that I have sweated, all the choices that I've regretted, tonight I'm gonna set it all aside. On the nights that I once dreaded, I walked a tightrope and pirouetted across the needles that I once threaded before a crowd that didn't get it. But all the losses that I have netted, all my hopes that have now been shredded, tonight I'm gonna set it all aside. And tomorrow, hard as it may be, I'll wake up and still be your baby. So tonight I'm gonna set it all aside. To our credit, we hung together till the aisle wedded. We walked the aisle, and when I said it, I was the king you coroneted. So all the chickens that I beheaded, cut to pieces, fried and breaded, tonight I'm gonna set it all aside. And tomorrow, hard as it may be, I'll wake up and still I'll be your baby. So tonight I'm gonna set it all aside. So tonight I'm gonna set it all aside.
Yeah, woo!
Thank you, John.
Just because the audience can't do it, I will do it instead.
Yes.
I will take that burden.
I appreciate it. It was very convincing as a full audience.
Oh, it was very good. What was the name of that one again?
That song is "I'm Gonna Set It All Aside." It's on the it's the EP we released in 2023, I suppose, called
And
"Fried and Breaded."
Oh, nice. The turnaround is always great. And the song before that was "Heavy Load" off of their latest record, "Fire at the Water Factory."
That's correct.
Great songs. Yeah, it's just I don't know. You don't see a lot of that kind of Americana vibes per se in New York City. You get it every once in a while, but especially in like rock band scenes, it's definitely not the unless you go to like Nashville or something, or like more
Yeah, it's
south.
around in indie music. Like the indie country thing is kind of happening right now in some way with certain the MJ Lendermans of the world
Yeah.
and whatnot. But I became obsessed with old country music sometime during the pandemic. It must have just broken my brain. That's it. But so like I'm influenced by we talked about all these things that influenced me when I was younger.
Hmm.
But then at some point, like I'm obsessed with Bob Dylan. I have been for a while, but at some point I just started listening to old country music, like in order. And this is something that's happened throughout my life where I'm like I need an encyclopedic knowledge of country music now.
Oh, nice.
So I did
Yeah.
that. I'm on the other side of it.
Who are your
Uh,
guys?
I mean, I love country singing. I fell in love with country singing. I think
Mm.
they got the best singers. So George Jones, Johnny Paycheck, Merle
Yeah.
Haggard, of course. And then like I yeah. I mean, I just can't get enough of that singing style. The Keith Whitleys of the world,
Mm.
Patty Loveless from the neo traditional era. And of course, like Hank Williams and Lefty Frizzell and those kind of foundational people too. Um, but I absorbed all those influences pretty. I don't know, with like a big appetite for that kind of thing. I guess I think it's something about there's like a songwriting culture in country music, in old country music,
I feel like it
where
lends with your. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, well, I was just gonna say that like people weren't. It didn't have. There wasn't the same cultural paradigm that we have now. Like the singer songwriter thing didn't really like come about until the '60s, until
Mm.
Dylan started like fusing poetry with songwriting or whatever. But old country music was always written by outside songwriters or by the artists themselves. But it was like country songs were produced like a movie. Like there'd be a writer, there'd be a producer, you'd hire
Mm.
session musicians, there'd be sound engineers, and the singer, the artist who was releasing the song, was just the name on the label, and they sung, but they didn't have like a hand in the entire creative process of that song. And I think some of the stuff that came out of working in that paradigm is really interesting because you have like these kind of very commercial, like cheap kind of commercial songwriting or whatever, but they were written by professional songwriters. So like there's impressive songwriting, like turns of phrase and rhymes, and there's so much like
It's
just like creativity that came out of that paradigm of the professional songwriter, where songwriting was this really competitive art.
mm.
Um, yeah, and the chords are so simple and easy to emulate that
It's
you
not
could
even the
take some of those.
focus. That's the
Yeah,
thing. Like the music is
exactly.
not necessarily the focus. It's usually, which it seems to match very much your style. What you're talking about is like focusing on like the words that are picked and how
Yeah,
like
you could listen
what
to
you're talking
10
about.
country songs with the same exact chord progressions, but with different singers and different lyrics,
Yeah.
And one of those songs, 9 of those songs might be absolute trash, and one of those songs might be like one of the most amazing songs you've ever heard. It's just like the difference between a good and bad country song can be really thin sometimes. I find it really thrilling. I don't know. Sometimes
It
like I'll hear the stupidest song, but it'll be like have the most amazing rhyme I've ever heard in it, or
Oh
something like
yeah.
that. That just
Oh,
like happened by
that'll save a
accident.
song for me. That'll save a song if there's a good line in there. You kidding me?
Yeah,
But what's a country song that my grandfather was very into country music, and
yeah.
that's was from Kentucky, so I kind of
A
grew
lot
up
of
with a
good
lot.
singers from Kentucky.
Yeah, but one song that just always pops in my head. He stopped loving her that
Oh
day.
yeah, that's George Jones.
George Jones. Oh God, it's such a brilliant. Just you're just talking about all these situations, and then you find out that he's dead at the end, and you're just like, this is
Yeah,
this is like a movie, man. Like this
yeah,
is
exactly. There is something cinematic about
Yeah.
It's all expensive. Like it's all produced in these big studios, these big arrangements and stuff. There's a lot of intentionality that
But you
goes
don't
into a
need
song
that
like that. No,
necessarily. You could play that song on an acoustic guitar and it's still going to be amazing. You're still
the
going to
song on an acoustic guitar is like C, F, G.
yeah, but it
There's
would
like
still
nothing there. It's bare bones musically, but it's about the sort of animation of it and the ideas that are in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. You could it's it's almost like a stew. You could keep it real basic and it still be delicious, or you could throw everything in there and
It's just like a stew.
yeah.
I was just thinking that.
You could tell you can hear how hungry I am. I'm talking about stew.
You're talking about stews. Like that. I talked about fried chicken in that song. I bet it got you going.
Exactly. So just going back to some of the questions that I wanted to get to. We talked earlier about your band situation, which is that you guys are in different states at this point. That you guys are currently working on a new record. Is that too early to say, or
It's too early to say.
too early to say? But with recording process, I'm getting some technical difficulties. Hold on 1 second, please.
That's all right.
All right, there we go. I wanted to circle back a little bit about your recording process a little bit. You guys go into the studio and you kind of do your writing in the studio, which is crazy in my opinion because I'm
arranging, not writing.
Oh, okay.
The songs are written, but they're not arranged. There's some of them were, but because we're a three-piece, you have to get really inventive. You know this about how to fill out the sound or not, like how to like hold back and create dynamic tension with just three people.
Yeah.
And in the studio, you have the great luxury of getting to do overdubs. So in my head, going into the studio, it's always like I'm not playing exactly what I normally play live. I'm like playing a rhythm track, or like I'm thinking of whatever I'm playing as a rhythm guitar, and then I record guitar overdubs on top of it. Yeah, I don't know. What anyway? I don't know. What's the question? I lost track.
No, it's totally fine. Just basically your studio experience. Like, what is your approach?
Yeah.
It's just like it sounds like you're saying is like you're going in there. Do you do the thing? This is one thing I'll just say because I do it. You breaking down, so you're not just doing, because we do a lot of bar chords. With my stuff, I usually don't do a full bar chord when we're recording. I usually power chord, do another shape in a different location to kind of expand,
like double tracking it,
double, triple. How
double,
mred more
triple,
guitars?
Quadruple.
How many guitars can I fit in there? But yeah. Do you guys when you guys recorded this last record? Where'd you guys do that?
The week before I moved to Philadelphia, we played a show in New York at it was called Heaven Can Wait at the time. Now it's
yes.
Now it's Lucinda Williams' Honky Tonk. We'll never play there again. I'd like to. Well, I don't think Lucinda's gonna have us, but we played a show there, and there's another band on the lineup from Philly, and I was like, oh, I'm moving to Philadelphia next week, and then exchange contact information or whatever. And I ended up, when we moved here, like, starting to hang out with them and get to know them, and collaborate with them in some ways. So one of those guys in that band is a sound engineer at a studio in Philly. And he, I guess, works on some sort of like ad hoc freelance basis. So he's free to set his own rates or whatever. And,
oh, nice. Was it his studio or was it he?
Somebody else owns the studio, or they have some sort of collective ownership. I don't really know how it works, but it's like a well-stocked studio. Like they have a lot of nice equipment. It's not a famous studio or anything, but it's like a working studio. So Dave got us in there, and we started to, I guess we just kind of set up sessions with him, like one weekend at a time. So this album came probably came together across 4 or 5 weekend-long sessions spread across the course of like a year.
We
Like,
talking like 8 hour days kind of thing?
yeah. Like Friday to Sunday. Friday set up all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
Okay.
And we would record live. So we do drums, bass, guitar live for the most part, just to get that kind of like core skeleton track. Some
God, I
vocals
love
we
that.
did live too. Like Heavy Load, we did the vocals live. There's a few songs with live vocal takes, but and then once we had those skeleton tracks in, we would do, we'd overdub whatever we wanted. We'd add aux percussion, vocals, the tiny bit of keys that are on the album, cowbells, and then for the most part, other guitar parts I did at home. Like,
Yeah.
so there's a bunch of guitars on every song, but those guitar parts were all like, for the most part, arranged. You know, not in a similar way to how I wrote the songs, just like slowly trying stuff again and again and again. Like literally sitting at this desk, I have like a little setup and yeah, just figuring out what works on top of these recordings without like it's an interesting
Burning through
challenge
your money?
because- No, well, a little bit. I certainly have. I've whittled it down, but an expensive set of pedal boards. Or
Oh, I meant more going to the studio and trying to figure out these other guitar parts in the studio, just figuring it out at
totally.
home.
I was avoiding, definitely. I was avoiding that. The studio time was like high efficiency studio time. You're like, we're gonna get these 3 tracks at a place where we can comfortably say they just need like whatever additional auxiliary guitar overdubs.
Yeah.
And finishing touches. But every time we went into the studio, it was like we had a real clear purpose about what we needed. And then I would work on it at home in the intervening weeks and months. And that's how most of the songs came about, yeah.
I will say that our first record, we did it live because we had a couple songs that we didn't even use a metronome, which was crazy.
I don't think we used a metronome on most of it. There's a few songs that have it, but
it's a lot of fun to do it that way. But in the nowadays we do it more with like a click, just because I want to get crazier with a lot of ideas. So you need to like send it to other people and
totally, yeah.
But I will say, actually, this is a tip that I'm going to give to other musicians as well, or just a phrase. So you guys are reamping. It is a lifesaver.
That's so funny.
It is a thing. Like, I have my own studio set up. I do very similar thing where I work on an idea and then I just like get it all cooked up and ready, and then we'll go to the studio, reamp it, which is basically just sending the electrical signal like it's a guitar into the amp and then recording the amp, so you get that nice rich sound.
Yeah.
With the what is your setup currently at your home?
At home, I basically just have a pedal board that has mostly everything I need, and I have a nice microphone that I'm talking into, and I have this acoustic guitar here, and I've got a couple of electric
I meant
guitars.
Your DAW. Do you use a DAW for when you're recording your stuff? Or?
I thought you said dog. I was like, yeah, he helps sometimes.
Yeah, your dog.
You could catch him in the background of some stuff for sure.
If you don't have a dog, a cat will be fine.
Yeah,
It's not necessary, but it helps.
We got 3 cats and 2 dogs in the house right now, but one of those dogs is not ours. One of those dogs we are just dog sitting for the weekend. So it's normally just 1 dog and 3 cats, and 2 of those cats are in here.
But you're saying you don't need more than 1 dog for your studio setup.
No, you don't. You don't need any dog. The fewer dogs, the better for music recording, honestly. Unless you want to record the sounds that dogs make. I don't know. Like Dave, the sound engineer who we're friends with, who worked with us, Dave Scovrin. He had mixed everything too. So when I'm recording overdubs at home, I'm just doing it in GarageBand, like
right,
because I'm not processing them really. I'm just if I'm recording an electric guitar part, I'll find a tone that I like with my pedal setup and amp setup or whatever. I'll just find a tone that I like and work with it and not do anything in GarageBand. And again, like I have a nice enough microphone that I could record acoustic tracks pretty well as long as the dog is not barking. And yeah, so at home I really don't do any mixing other than just like messing around with stuff.
Oh, that stuff is magic. I don't understand it. I'm like I like to be hands off at that point. I'm like,
yeah, I can get I've gotten too hyper focused on it in the past that it is nice to.
it's a trap.
And he really Dave really knows what he's doing when it comes to like compressing individual drum tracks and stuff. Like
Yeah.
some of that is a little scientific, I suppose.
Have you worked? This is your first project with him, right? The last record.
He helped us record the EP before this record too. So we did the Fried and Breaded EP in 2023, which was like, I guess, the first time we worked with him, but like a test run. And I think we must have done that across 2 sessions or something. And then, yeah, this album was more extensive. So, like, we as a band did maybe 4 or 5 sessions together, like full weekend sessions as a band with him. And then in the intervening months, there were times where, like, Dave and I would meet up and just do, like, a little bit of mixing or, like, a little bit of overdubbing, too. So it was this really kind of, like, prolonged process of just, like, slowly refining things as we can. Like, we're all just in our 30s and have jobs and stuff, so doing things when we have time to do them.
I mean, that's the artist way in this capitalistic hellscape that we all live in.
Totally.
But okay, so you guys, not to give away, you guys are working on some stuff. Maybe, I don't know. No one's saying anything.
Not really. Well, so as a band, we're not working on anything at the moment other than just playing whatever shows come up. But I'm working with Dave and my other friend Austin. We're working on like a collaborative thing, which is like sort of my it's sort of my respite from the prolonged, like very personal work that was this album, the Coral Gables album. This is like more collaborative and more fun. We're making an album about baseball. All the songs have to like mention baseball in some way, but some are literally about baseball, and some just mention baseball once, and we're like, it counts or whatever.
I remember watching some YouTube video about this is a YouTube channel called This Exists. I don't know if they're still making videos, but they did a whole episode about baseball punk. And there was like this one band where they would literally, instead of having a mosh pit, they would bring bases to the show and have people run around in a circle.
That's cool. Maybe we got to do that. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, I'll send you the video.
Yeah, baseball punk.
Yeah. Yes. So okay, so that's great. So you're doing some other side projects,
We're doing other stuff. Yeah.
I'd be curious with you guys, or even just you, particular collaborations with other artists. Is there any like dream collaboration anyone you'd love to work with? Big or small, you know?
I mean, there's certainly like ridiculous fantasies in my head, but no, I try to. It's been kind of my mission to like. Just deal with what's in front of me and like collaborate with the people that I click with. So I go around town sometimes to like open mics and stuff and try to meet people playing music in Philly. And so there's some people in those scenes who I would want to work with. Like obviously I could just say Bob Dylan or something, or like it'd be cool if I get Tom Waits to contribute some backup vocals.
Oh, Tom Waits would be great. I love Tom Waits.
That'd be pretty cool, but I'm certainly not aiming for it because that would be pretty unrealistic, I suppose.
No, hey man, that's fair. But okay, now I've got us on to our next segment, which is basically just kind of the music industry side of this and being in a band and just kind of talking about you guys and what your goals are. Like, do you have any future plans besides just playing shows? Are you like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? You know?
I don't know. I mean, we're a small band, you know, and Yeah, we're just I don't know. I've never found. I'm not a good opportunist. Maybe like
Mm.
it's not like we have a huge audience. I'm grateful for whoever listens to us. But
Who
I,
knows? This could be your moment, sir.
it could. If I'm open to that, I would embrace whatever happens. But like I just said about who I'd want to collaborate with, I'm just like trying to incorporate music into my life in a way that's organic. And if I have more ideas, if we have more ideas as a band to do more stuff together, we will, And it's important for music to just be a part of my life in that way, but not as a commercial enterprise because
Gotcha.
I don't see a path forward. The
That's
only
fair.
path forward I see is like to try to build, participate and help build some sort of musical like community and language or but I've never been a good promoter or anything like that.
So it sounds like just keep on keeping on. Business
Yeah,
as
if
usual.
I could keep doing it, I just want to keep thinking of. I think my favorite thing to do is to think of ideas. That's my favorite thing to do, like as a hobby. I just like to think of funny ideas.
Just you in a chair and some.
Yeah, just me as a chair. You cut to me, and
There's
I
nothing in the room. There's
there's
nothing in the
nothing
room.
happening, and I just go like, huh. That's my favorite thing to do. Like if I think of a funny idea, that'll keep
Oh,
me
that's
going.
amazing.
It doesn't have to be funny, but a good idea. Like
Yeah,
an
I get what
idea
you're
that's
saying.
like, oh, that's good.
That
Um,
that'll get the people going.
yeah, so
Um,
inevitably, if I have stuff in my life, like I have a band, I have these collaborators, I have Dave's at the studio, I'll think of more ideas. So I'm just trying to keep the flow of ideas like alive,
Totally.
whatever way makes sense.
Okay. Well, then a lot of these questions, I don't know if they're going to apply, but we're
No,
gonna.
I'm happy to answer them because I think my answers will be funny or
Yeah.
interesting.
So, are you guys? I actually don't know if this. Do you guys do any touring?
No, I would love to.
Okay. So
No, I've
well,
never.
that hey, are you planning on touring in the next 5 years?
It'd be cool. I don't see an avenue for it, but I'd love to.
It's just
If somebody wants to, hey, if anybody's listening and they want to do that, call me. Email me.
me flipping through my pages, being like, what do I say? Anyways,
No. We've played other cities, like we've played Pat, our bassist is from Boston, the Boston area, and Adam actually went to college there, so we played a show in Boston once. We never toured,
where'd you play?
though. Where did we play? It was in Jamaica Plain.
Oh,
I
nice.
forget the name of it. I forget. I wish I could remember the name.
Was it the? Oh, God, because I grew up in New Hampshire, so I know
Oh, I
Boston
see.
a little bit. I when me and Forrest were starting to play, I think we played Boston twice, and they were both at
Yeah.
like these weird pubs.
Oh, I found
So-
it. It's the Midway Cafe.
Oh, the Midway! I love the Mid. We played the
Yeah,
Midway. Yeah,
We had a lot of fun. That was a really fun show.
it was.
So we played in other places
Yeah.
a few times.
The Midway's great. Okay, so future touring. That's a goal maybe.
I would
It's a
love
vibe.
to. Personally, I would love to tour. I would love for music to be a bigger part of my life. I'd love to just kind of live the musical life.
Totally.
But yeah, I just whatever happens, happens. Also,
I mean, at the
that's
end
in
of the
my
day,
song. That's in Heavy Load. Whatever happens, happens.
yeah,
Whatever
exactly.
will be. That's it. There's not. I'm meeting people. Whatever opportunities come my way, I'll see. Weigh them against my own.
well, there's
conscience or whatever.
there to do the music like there's a lot of just rigmarole and other stuff you got to do, and honestly, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
I'm not like a
that's-
hustler. Like I don't have
yeah.
the hustler gene. I don't like posting on the internet.
I get
I
that.
don't like creating content. I don't.
As we make content right now.
I know, but you invited me. I just had to show up. That was
I know.
easy. I just have to show up and talk. I can do that.
It's very funny. This is so outside my natural wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I was like, oh well,
Hey, you're
people
doing great, buddy.
people are listening. I'm gonna give it a shot. Before I was
as
the
long
same
as
way.
you're prepared, you could do anything. That's what I think.
Exactly.
I
But
think
all right.
prepare.
So this is something I feel like I had a lot of trouble starting off with, which was booking. Do you do all the booking? Who's responsible for booking in the band?
Pat, our bassist, does most of it, but we've all We've all done a little bit. We've all
Right.
worked our networks, you know.
Totally. Oh, how do you guys approach doing your booking? I mean, like, is it just? I'm assuming it's just reaching out to the venues, right? Or do you like?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
just
much. I mean, I've tried since being in Philly. I've tried to kind of um, get some shows going just based on people I know.
I feel like
Playing at
that's an
open
important
mics.
element that people don't talk about is just being like, you can book the show. Just
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like, hey, I want this night. Let me have it, and then you just pick your favorite bands, and then be like, we're gonna
yeah.
play a show together.
Right. Yeah. It's just trying to have a plan in place. So it's, if you're reaching out to a venue, they always often have a lot of questions and requests, and it can sometimes be difficult to manage that relationship or to like maintain a line of contact or whatever. But
Yeah.
usually, if you could get a bill together, like if you get a bill together, and you're like, I got these four bands ready. We can do this date. We can do these dates. We can do these times. Whatever. They'll get something together. But I don't know. I don't take any pleasure in doing that stuff. It's just a
Yeah.
logistical nightmare.
Well, it's like trying to manage your own band is already a headache. Now try to do
Mhm.
that by four.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Everyone's
get
schedule.
25 people in one place at the
Yeah.
same night. It's
It's and then you have
plus an audience.
yeah. Well, who needs that?
Well,
That's
yeah, we've
optional.
certainly had shows like that, but
We still have shows like that. That's
yeah,
more
yeah, no,
common, unfortunately.
definitely. I
But
don't mind it. I've learned to embrace it.
if there's no one there, it's a public practice. That's
I'm
how I
playing.
always.
I'm playing to whoever's in the room. It doesn't matter how many people are there or not. That's how I feel.
There was a quote I always like to say, which is, "You're playing to the candles."
Mm-hmm.
You're playing to the tables, the empty tables.
Yeah, I mean, every
Yeah.
time I used to feel very negative when people wouldn't come to stuff, and I had sort of a revelation last year where there was going to be we were doing a show. We were doing a show at Arlene's Grocery,
Great venue.
and yeah, it is, and it was in the winter. It must have been in December, last December or something, and there was a huge snowstorm, and and people were just canceling on me. I was just like, no one's gonna be at this show. This is gonna be terrible. And I was so negative about it, and I was having like anxiety about it. I guess and I was like, this is. I was just dragging my feet, feeling bad. And then, so I just had. I can only call it a revelation. At one moment, I was like, this is gonna be a nightmare. It's gonna be terrible. Makes me sick. I'm awful. And suddenly, like a flip switched in my brain, and I was like, no, I get to play. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play
Yeah.
for whoever's there. It's
Yeah.
gonna be
Exactly.
fun. And then all of a sudden, I was like, whoa, I could just choose to play for whoever shows up instead of trying to control these external variables that I don't actually have that much control over. So now I'll take any audience I can get. Truly,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just you're doing it the long. It's like going around like shaking hands and kissing babies. You're
kind of,
doing
yeah.
you're just
You have to
getting
love
them
it.
one at a time, one at a
Yeah,
time.
true.
Yeah.
Like literally though, like
Yeah.
actually, that's what it is. Like for you, even you could go in front of an audience of 100 people and you could give the best performance of your life, and the audience might even appreciate it. But it's impossible to measure like how the effect that you have on people.
Mm,
And as long as I get to keep doing this in some way, in some form, I'll have gratitude for it. You know.
totally. Yeah. All right, let me see if I got. Do you guys have any type of Are you guys DIY, or do you have any type of representation at this point?
We have no representation.
They're looking, folks. Email them
Yeah,
in the email in the
represent
comments.
us. I'm open to representation.
And I guess this is another thing which I always love to just ask because it just demystifies all this stuff. I think you just said it. You do have a day job. What is your
Mm-hmm.
day job?
I'm like a proofreader. I work at I have an editorial background, so I worked
Oh,
at
wow.
publishing companies in my early 20s. And then I moved to Philly, and I quit my publishing job. I moved to Philly. I was like unemployed for a while, and then I was kind of like underemployed and freelancing, doing like freelance copy editing kind of stuff. I was a barista for a little bit in that time, and then when we settled into Philly, I got this job at this company that like owns a bunch of hospitals, and I proofread their like ads and stuff.
Okay.
And it's very, I'm grateful. It's a source of stability in my life, and I'm able to have a kind of easygoing relationship to it, where I kind of show up, I do my work, and as I said, what I like to do is daydream. There's plenty of room to daydream.
Do you find that is it I'd be curious to see what elements do you find it helps in your musical career in that way? Like, is it the hours kind of flexible, or is it just kind of like the, you know?
Well, it fits into my life in like just strategically, like I have bills to pay and pets to feed, and I'm married, and
All those dogs you got.
all those dogs, all those cats, all that stuff. I got a Subaru, so you gotta pay for a Subaru somehow. But I would say like it's more of a lifestyle thing at this point, where I needed to find work that was agreeable to me and that wouldn't. I didn't in the publishing industry it was very competitive, I guess, so I had to get out of that because it was very competitive and not very like livable. Like, it was
Totally.
low paying and super competitive. So right now I'm just kind of dialed into this really stable thing, and it facilitates the rest of my life is how I feel about it. It's like a structure that's not suffocating.
Right.
And then I would say, like, on the other end of that, like, I still do some editorial, like, freelancing and stuff, and like editorial work or like copy editing, if I'm editing like a book or something, that has actually interest to me on the level of content, and I like reading and learning about things. But it's all just ephemera that I just collect. I collect information, and then I just don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I am somehow convinced that whatever information I absorb will be useful to me at some point down the line, no matter how esoteric.
You're a hoarder of information.
I actually am, yeah. I totally am. I don't
That's
know
so
why.
funny.
It's just the way I've always been.
Amazing. Well, all right, sir. We're almost at the end of our show. I've got one final question for you.
All right, I'm ready.
Which is, what are you listening to this week?
What am I listening to? I'll tell you everything I listened to today, because it basically encompasses what I've been listening to lately. So I've been reading a biography of Elvis.
Really?
By what's the guy's name? By Peter Guralnick, who's a famous rock writer. I guess he's written this. This is called "Last Train to Memphis" is the name of the book, and it's a biography of Elvis's, but just his early career, like 1955 to 1959 or something. So it's a very compressed time period, and it kind of takes it through his career as it was, on the rise. Like the big, the Elvis era of the late 50s. So I was listening to some Elvis because there was some stuff that was mentioned in the book. I was reading it in bed last night. There were some songs in there. I was like, oh, I've never really listened to that song in this way or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like collecting information, like, oh, well, let me see if I, whatever.
Totally.
See if I could hear this kind of influence and that, whatever. So I've been listening to some Elvis, which I do from time to time. And then I was also listening to the new Geese record, which people are talking about, I guess.
I haven't checked that out yet.
I like it. I mean, Cameron, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's Gen Z, so I'm like, I feel like I'm too old for this. I think it's really cool what they're doing, but there is a block. There's a generational block that I just feel very viscerally when I listen to it.
It's very funny because I maybe it's just living in New York. I feel like I don't feel the like there's some slight stuff, but I feel like as someone who likes consuming information, I feel like it's very easy to stay in touch because all it is just keeping up with, like, what are they watching, what are they listening to, what are they engaging in the public zeitgeist, and then you're there, buddy. You're
No, you're absolutely right. But here I'm stuck trying to figure out what people were listening to in 1958. Like I'm just my head is in a different era.
That's fair.
It's not even in my own. It's not even centered in my own generational experience either.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a Delta blues phase. I
that stuff's incredible.
yeah, exactly.
I have a blues song that I've been working on. That's I don't know if or when it will ever be done, but I definitely have that kind of stuff floating around my brain, like old folk music and stuff too. Love that.
Oh, hey man, let it out. You know, the people need it. The
will.
kids
It'll come
crave the folk.
I think they might. I don't know. We'll see.
They're looking for the authenticity.
They might. Yeah. Whatever that means.
Exactly. Kenny, thank you for coming on to my show today to allow me to introduce the good people to the Coral Gables. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Their record, Fire at the Water Factory.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Go out there, check it out. Spotify
on all streaming services.
Exactly. You said that you don't know. You're not doing the rigmarole. That was perfect. That was great. You're a professional.
Contributing what I can.
Yeah.
No, we worked hard on it. I hope anyone listens. But thanks for having me on. You know,
of course.
Is there I was nervous. I've never been on a live stream. I was nervous. I was like, am I gonna say something dumb?
Well, you know what? You killed it. You killed it, sir.
Thanks, John. You killed it too.
Hey, thanks. You know that's gonna keep me going for a while.
All right, good. I'm glad. I think you did a great job. I think you got something, kid.
Oh, thanks.
You got moxie.
Is there anything else you'd like to let the people know about? Any upcoming shows? Anything in particular besides the record?
We'll be playing as a band in November in Philadelphia. But if you follow us on social media at The Coral Gables, the is very important because there is another Coral Gables. So The Coral Gables, follow us. We'll promote that show. It'll be early November, I think, like whatever that Friday, the first Friday is, maybe November 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
And Fat Lady Brewing in Manayunk.
Hell yeah, we're actually doing.
That's where you can find us.
We're actually doing our first Philly show.
Whoa.
October 11th, we're doing Porch Fest.
Shoot. Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, so it'll be a good time. It's like a matinee.
I'll come out.
Yeah, come on. I think
it
starts at like 2 p.m., so.
Nice.
For all you Philadelphians,
all
you
the
should come out.
Philadelphians.
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
all right.
I'll check you guys out. Say
awesome.
hi.
All right, folks. You have a good night. Take it easy. Godspeed. And
all right. Keep it coral.
Keep it coral.